Los Angeles 2025. The city buzzed like a live wire. Neon from Sunset Boulevard bled into the night sky, while the glow of ring lights leaked from high-rise apartments where influencers streamed their curated lives. That was my world. My name is Juniper Kincaid, June to almost everyone. And at 23, I was finally on the edge of breaking through. After 2 years of sleepless nights, endless edits, and hustling brand deals that barely covered rent, my creative partner and best friend Tessa and I had built something special. We weren't just influencers, we were building a brand. Our idea was raw, authentic, and loud. Feral Bloom, a fusion of streetwear and self-expression, designed for creators who felt like outsiders. It wasn't polished perfection, it was messy, real, and ours. I still remember the night we sketched the first logo on a napkin at a Koreatown cafe. Tessa laughed as she doodled vines curling around sharp letters. I scribbled taglines on the back of receipts. It felt like a revolution in miniature, and it was ours alone. Or so I thought. 2 weeks before our big launch party, a rooftop event in downtown LA where we'd planned to drop the first collection, I woke up to a flood of texts. Wait, isn't this your brand? June, did you see Tessa's announcement? Girl, I'm so confused. Did you split? Confused, I scrolled, heart hammering. There it was, a glossy promo video plastered across Tessa's socials. A brand new line, same vibe, same aesthetic, same damn name, Feral Bloom. Except in her version, I didn't exist. The captions read, Tessa Ray, founder, creative director, visionary behind Feral Bloom. I dropped my phone, my chest hollowed out, like someone had scooped out everything I'd built. I replayed the video again and again, searching for some trace of me. Our brainstorming, my designs, my face, nothing. She'd erased me. The betrayal didn't hit all at once. It seeped in slow like poison. First shock, then denial. Then the sting of humiliation when DMs poured in, asking what happened, asking if I'd been pushed out, asking if I was even real. I thought of the countless late nights editing, the mood boards pinned to my wall, the scraps of paper with my handwriting still inked into them, all swallowed by her curated spotlight. She was my best friend, my partner, the person I'd trusted with my dream. And now she'd stolen it all, smiling into a camera while the world applauded her. I sat on my floor, surrounded by crumpled sketches and unopened PR packages, tears running hot. My reflection in the black screen of my laptop looked like a stranger, someone small, invisible, defeated. But as the night stretched on, anger began to burn through the grief. If she wanted to erase me, she'd chosen the wrong girl. I wasn't going to disappear. I was going to make sure the world knew exactly who Feral Bloom belonged to. And when I was done, no one would ever mistake her shadow for my light again. The days after Tessa's launch felt like a fever dream. Everywhere I scrolled, there she was, smiling in interviews, strutting in photo shoots, hashtags flooding TikTok. Axe Feral Bloom, Tessa Ray Visionary, next big thing. Each clip felt like a knife, twisting deeper. For 2 days, I hid in my apartment, curtains drawn. I couldn't eat, I couldn't even look at my sketches without crying. It wasn't just losing a brand, it felt like losing myself. Then, a knock at the door. It was Marisol, one of our day one followers, practically family by now. She stood there with boba in hand, blunt as always. June, you're trending for all the wrong reasons, she said. People are calling you a ghost, like you never existed. You gonna let her write you out of your own story? Her words hit like a slap. I wanted to scream, to fight, but instead, my voice cracked. What am I supposed to do? She has the money, the PR, the connections. I have nothing. Marisol set the boba on my desk, right on top of one of my mood boards. You have receipts. You have us. Don't you dare say you have nothing. Her conviction jolted me. That night, I dug through hard drives, journals, old vlogs we never posted. Every scrap of proof that Feral Bloom had started in my tiny apartment, not in her glossy press releases. I found the napkin sketch from Koreatown, my handwriting still smudged with soy sauce. A video clip of me on the floor surrounded by fabric samples, laughing while Tessa held the camera. Draft captions, logo iterations, unposted TikToks. Proof of origin. The more I uncovered, the more my grief turned into fuel. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclamation. So I drafted a plan. A counter launch. Not polished, not corporate. Grassroots. Raw. I'd release everything, behind the scenes, fan shoutouts, the messy realness of how Feral Bloom was born. If Tessa wanted to play glossy queen, I'd play the street kid with a megaphone. And I'd be louder. But before I could breathe, another blow landed. Marisol burst in 2 days later, phone shaking in her hand. June, you need to see this. On Tessa's Instagram story, a teaser for her official launch party, moved up to next week. Same rooftop, same theme, same date we had chosen months ago. She wasn't just stealing my brand. She was stealing my stage. The announcement hit like a gut punch. Tessa wasn't just stealing my brand. She was hijacking my moment. The stage I'd dreamed of for months. Same rooftop, same theme, same night. If she launched first, the narrative would be sealed. She'd be the original, and I'd be nothing but a bitter copy. I sat in my dark apartment, staring at the glowing screen, Marisol pacing behind me. She's playing checkmate, June, Marisol muttered. What's your move? My throat tightened. I don't know. I can't outspend her. I can't outgloss her. She's got investors. She's got influencers lined up to post for her. What do I have? Marisol stopped pacing. You have the truth, and you have people. You've always had people. Her words stuck. I thought back to the countless DMs from fans who said my messy vlogs helped them feel seen. The comments on my posts about burnout, creativity, and not fitting the influencer mold. They hadn't followed me for polish. They followed me because I was raw, real. If Tessa was throwing a high-gloss rooftop party, maybe my counterpunch wasn't to compete there, but to undercut it. That night, I called in every favor. I texted indie photographers, videographers, baristas who had once let me shoot in their coffee shops. I asked friends of friends who had been inspired by Feral Bloom to send clips. Raw, unedited, speaking into their phones about what the brand meant to them. By dawn, I had a folder full of shaky vertical videos. Fans in thrifted fits, creators in messy bedrooms, a girl painting vines around the Feral Bloom logo on her sneakers, a skater yelling into his GoPro. June started this. We ride with her. It wasn't polished, but it was powerful. I pieced them together into a rough montage, adding in my old clips, the napkin sketches, the fabric scraps, the laughter in my apartment at 2 a.m. The final shot, me sitting on my floor, looking into the camera. My name is Juniper Kincaid. I am the founder of Feral Bloom, and this is our story, told by the people who lived it. I hit upload. Within hours, the montage exploded. Not viral polished, but viral real. Hashtags flipped. How could Feral Bloom origin? June started this. Bloom with June. Tessa's teaser was still trending, but now it had competition. By the evening, a new message popped up in my inbox. Not from a fan, not from a troll, from someone inside the industry. And it promised to change everything. The message came from a verified account I never expected. It was from Kai Morales, creative director at Pulse LA, a boutique agency that specialized in launching underground brands into the mainstream. I'd admired their work for years from a distance, too intimidated to ever reach out. June, the message read, I saw your montage. It was raw, honest. That's what this city is starving for. If you're serious about reclaiming Feral Bloom, let's talk. My heart pounded. Marisol nearly spilled her iced latte when I showed her. Kai Morales? The Kai Morales. June, this is huge. But excitement mixed with dread. Why now? Was it genuine support? Or just someone looking to cash in on my drama with Tessa? I agreed to meet. The next day, I walked into Pulse LA's office, a converted warehouse filled with graffiti walls, vinyl couches, and interns, editing reels on triple monitors. Kai was waiting by a neon sign that read, Make noise, not ads. He didn't waste time. You've got the origin story, the receipts, the community, he said, sliding into a chair across from me. What you don't have is amplification. That's where I come in. I narrowed my eyes. Why help me? Tessa's brand already looks like the winning horse. Kai leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Because Tessa's brand is all polish, no soul. I've seen this city chew through fakes like her 100 times. You've got the kind of authenticity people will bleed for. If you're willing to fight. His words lit something in me, but I wasn't naive. And what do you get out of this? He smirked. If you win, I get to say Pulse was behind the comeback of the year. It's good business. But I won't take your story from you. It stays yours. I studied his face, trying to read him. All I saw was hunger, the same kind I felt in my own bones. By the end of the meeting, I agreed. Kai and Pulse LA would help me amplify my counter-launch. Not with big budgets or billboards, but with strategy. Seeding the narrative to journalists, connecting me with micro-influencers, pushing hashtags until they couldn't be ignored. It felt like momentum. But as I left the warehouse, phone buzzing with new notifications, a chill crept in. Because waiting outside was a black SUV, window rolled down. Tessa's manager sat inside, sunglasses on, voice cold. June. Word travels fast. Walk away now, and maybe you'll still have a future in this city. Keep pushing, and you'll regret it. The SUV rolled off, leaving exhaust in its wake. And I realized Tessa knew exactly what I was planning. The SUV's exhaust still lingered in the air as I stood frozen on the sidewalk. Part of me wanted to run upstairs, lock my door, and pretend this wasn't happening. Pretend I hadn't just been threatened by Tessa's manager, the same guy who once shared pizza with us on editing nights, laughing like family. But another part of me, the part that had been humiliated, erased, and underestimated, burned hotter than fear. When I told Marisol, she cursed so loud my downstairs neighbor banged the ceiling with a broom. June, this is straight-up intimidation. They think they can scare you off because you're small. I am small, I whispered. Marisol grabbed my shoulders. No, you're loud, and that scares them. Her words stuck like glue. That night, I met Kai again at the Pulse LA office. He listened quietly as I explained the SUV, the threat, the fear gnawing in my stomach. Kai didn't flinch. Good. That means they know you're a threat. Now the question is, do you want to be one? I stared at him, my pulse quickened. He leaned in. We can build something that doesn't just rival her launch. We can bury it. But you'll need to go all in. No more hiding, no more hesitation. I thought about the fans sending shaky videos, their voices raw with loyalty. About the napkin sketch. About every late night I gave to the stream. My chest tightened, but I nodded. I'm in. The plan began. We would stage a counter-launch the same night as Tessa's rooftop event. Not in glass towers, but in the streets, where Feral Bloom was born. A warehouse party in Boyle Heights, filled with street art, skate crews, underground musicians. The kind of raw authenticity Tessa couldn't fake if she tried. Kai grinned. It'll feel dangerous, it'll feel alive, and it'll feel real. The next week blurred into chaos. Calls, DMs, collabs, indie bands volunteered to play. Food truck owners offered to park outside for free. Creators stitched the montage, shouting, June started this, until the hashtag climbed. Momentum built. But with it came sabotage. 3 days before the event, the warehouse owner called me, nervous. June, I just got a bigger offer. Cash up front. I'm sorry. I didn't need to ask who it came from. Tessa wasn't just stealing my brand. She was trying to erase my stage. Again. 3 days. That's all I had left. And now my venue was gone. I sat in Kai's office, head in my hands, as Marisol paced like a caged animal. She bought it out. Of course she did. Tessa doesn't just want to win. She wants you buried. Kai leaned back in his chair, calm as always. So we find another space. There's no time, I snapped. Every decent venue is booked, and the ones left are dumps no one will come to. Then maybe, Kai said slowly, we don't need a venue at all. I looked up. What does that even mean? He smiled. Feral Bloom was never meant to be polished. It was meant to be lived. So let's take it to the streets. Literally. The idea hit me like lightning, guerrilla style, mobile, unstoppable. That night, we rewired the plan. Instead of one big event, we'd stage pop-ups all across LA. Street art murals with QR codes linking to our montage. Skaters riding through Venice with Feral Blooms stenciled on their boards. Musicians performing in empty parking lots. Streamed live on TikTok. The city itself would become the venue. Marisol grinned like a kid on caffeine. You're turning LA into a runway. No one can shut that down. The next 72 hours were a blur of chaos and adrenaline. Volunteers painted, musicians rehearsed, fans stitched hashtags into thrifted jackets. My tiny apartment looked like a war room, maps, post-it notes, battery packs charging in every outlet. And then the night came. Tessa's rooftop launch glittered on the skyline. An exclusive guest list, champagne flutes, a red carpet crawling with photographers. But on the streets below, something louder stirred. At 7 p.m., murals lit up with blacklight graffiti. At 7:15, bands started playing in parking lots, their sets streaming to thousands online. By 7:30, my montage replayed on a giant LED truck, rolling through downtown. And at 8, I went live, standing in front of a mural painted with the original Feral Bloom logo, spray cans still dripping. I looked into my phone camera. My name is Juniper Kincaid. You've heard the copy. Now hear the origin. The comments exploded. Hearts, flames, hashtags flying faster than I could read. Up above, Tessa's party looked glamorous. But down here, the streets were alive with something money couldn't buy. And for the first time, I felt the tide turning. But just as my live stream peaked, Marisol's face went pale. "June, look." She pointed at her phone. Tessa had gone live too. And she wasn't just defending herself. She was calling me a fraud. Tessa's live stream was slick. Perfect lighting, pro-level camera. Her hair styled like she was about to walk a runway. She looked straight into the lens, her voice dripping with wounded sincerity. "I hate that I have to address this," she began, sighing dramatically. "But sometimes, people you think are friends aren't. Feral Bloom has always been my vision. June was a collaborator, sure, but she's trying to rewrite history. She's bitter. She's using you all." The comments flew. Some fans defended me, others turned skeptical. Wait, was June really just a sidekick? Why would she lie about being the founder? Tessa looked so genuine, though. My stomach knotted. Watching her steal not just my brand, but my reputation felt like suffocating. Marisol clenched her fists. "She's flipping it. She's making you the thief." I wanted to scream into my own camera, to shout the truth louder. But Kai shook his head. "Don't fight her on her turf," he warned. "You'll look defensive. Let your community speak." As if on cue, the comment section of my live began to flood. Fans were stitching Tessa's videos side by side with my montage, sharing my napkin sketches, posting screenshots from my vlogs months before Tessa's announcement. The hashtag #ReceiptsForJune started climbing. And then, something unexpected happened. One of Tessa's own former assistants joined the chat. "Username verified, profile recognizable." "I worked for Tessa," the message read. I saw June's sketches, June's mood boards, June's everything. Tessa copied it all. The chat exploded. Screenshots of that comment spread like wildfire across Twitter and TikTok. Tessa's face on her stream cracked for just a second, her smile twitching, but she recovered quickly, laughing into the camera. Of course, bitter ex-staffers are going to say things. People want their 5 minutes of fame. Still, the damage was done. The seed of doubt had been planted, and this time, against her. I took a shaky breath, staring at my own reflection in the phone screen. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was war. And I wasn't fighting alone. The morning after the dueling live streams, my phone was a battlefield. Notifications blurred into each other. Mentions, stitches, think pieces popping up on TikTok and Twitter. One headline stood out. "Feral Bloom feud? Copycat or creator?" It should have terrified me, but instead I felt something new. Momentum. The hashtags weren't just defending me anymore. They were spreading. Bloom with June, her origin over copy, receipts for June. They weren't just about me. They were about people demanding authenticity from the influencer world. Marisol sat cross-legged on my couch, scrolling and grinning. "June, you've started a damn revolution." I laughed, half disbelieving. "It's not just me, it's them." She nodded. "Exactly, and that's why Tessa can't touch it. You can buy followers, but you can't buy loyalty." Later that day, Kai called an emergency meeting at Pulse. He slapped a stack of printouts on the table. Fan art, screenshots, blog posts. "This isn't a brand war anymore," he said. "It's cultural. People are hungry for real, and June, you've become the face of it." The thought made me dizzy. I wasn't just fighting for Feral Bloom anymore. I was representing every creator who'd ever been ripped off, erased, or replaced. So we doubled down. Instead of trying to match Tessa's rooftop spectacle, we expanded the street campaign. New murals went up overnight. Skaters filmed tricks with hashtags Bloom with June, sprayed under their boards. Fans hosted their own micro pop-ups in thrift shops, record stores, backyards, streaming them live, tagging me in. The city pulsed with our movement. But Tessa didn't back down. She posted glossy behind-the-scenes clips, framed herself as the visionary wronged by jealousy. Her PR team planted articles calling me a clout chaser. She wasn't going to let me steal the spotlight without a fight. And then came the invitation. A producer from CultureCast LA, one of the biggest talk shows in the city, reached out. They wanted both of us, Tessa and me, live on air, face to face. Marisol's jaw dropped when she read the email. This is it, June. The showdown. No edits, no hiding, the whole city watching. I stared at the screen, heart racing. This was everything I wanted. Proof, exposure, the chance to tell the truth where no one could cut me out. But it was also dangerous. One slip, one stumble, and Tessa would spin it into another weapon. I clenched my fists. If this was war, then maybe it was time to step into the arena. The invitation from CultureCast LA sat in my inbox like a loaded weapon. I read it over and over again. Both parties will be given equal time. No edits, no pre-screens, live broadcast. It was everything I'd been asking for. But the thought of sitting across from Tessa, under blinding lights, with millions of eyes watching, it made my throat close. Marisol was buzzing, pacing my apartment like a campaign manager. This is it, June. The big one. The city's going to watch you torch her live. But Kai was more measured. He sat with arms crossed, studying me like I was a chess piece. The stakes are nuclear. She'll have rehearsed every line, every tear. If you walk in raw, she'll eat you alive. I sank onto the couch. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not an actress. I don't know how to fake it like she does. Kai leaned forward. That's your strength. You don't have to fake it, but you need control. You need focus. One wrong tangent and she'll spin it into her victory. For the next 3 nights, we drilled. Pulse LA became my training ground. Kai played devil's advocate, spitting out Tessa's likely attacks. She'll say you were just her assistant. She'll say you're bitter. She'll claim you never had the vision. And every time I had to answer, not with rage, not with tears, but with receipts. With calm, with conviction. It was brutal. I broke down twice, screamed once, stormed out another time. But by the end, I was sharper. I had my story straight. And more importantly, I had my proof. Marisol helped me prep a physical folder. Old sketches, timestamps, messages, napkin photos. If she wants to play courtroom, you'll walk in with evidence, she said, smirking. Still, doubt haunted me. Late at night, I'd lie awake, imagining the audience's eyes, the headlines waiting to pounce. Wannabe cries on live TV. Feral Bloom fraud exposed. The night before the broadcast, I sat alone, staring at the city skyline. I whispered to myself, this isn't just about me anymore. This is for every voice that got stolen. The next morning, a black car pulled up to take me to the studio. As I stepped inside, phone buzzing with last-minute texts of support, I caught sight of another car pulling up behind mine. The door opened, and out stepped Tessa, dressed like she was headed to an awards show, smiling like she'd already won. The studio lights were blinding. I sat in the green room, folder of receipts clutched to my chest like a shield. Through the thin wall, I could hear the muffled buzz of the audience, the countdown of producers, the hum of cameras charging up for broadcast. Marisol squeezed my hand. You've got this. Remember, truth doesn't need rehearsal. Kai adjusted his earpiece, scanning me like a coach before a championship game. Stay calm, don't chase her lies. Anchor in your story. Then the stage manager called, We're live in 60. My heart raced as they led me under the hot lights, into the circle of cameras. Across from me, Tessa sat poised in a designer jumpsuit. Smile practiced to perfection. She looked at me like I was already defeated. The host introduced us, painting the scene as a clash of visions and the fight for the soul of Feral Bloom. And then, the first question. June, Tessa says you were just a collaborator, an assistant who helped execute her vision. What do you say to that? I breathed in, steadying myself. I say that I was there the night Feral Bloom was born, in a Koreatown cafe, sketching on a napkin while Tessa filmed me. I have the napkin, I have the footage, and I have the community who watched it grow from my apartment floor. The audience murmured. Cameras zoomed in as I slid the napkin photo onto the table, time-stamped, undeniable. Tessa's smile tightened, but she recovered fast. Of course she thinks she started it. She was part of the process, sure, but ideas aren't ownership. I was the one who shaped it into a brand. Her voice dripped with calm authority, but I caught the flicker in her eyes. The host leaned in. Tessa, what about the accusations from your former assistant? For the first time, Tessa's jaw twitched. Disgruntled staff, they'll say anything. I seized the moment. Except their screenshots match my drafts. Their testimony lines up with my timeline. And unlike staged rooftop parties, the truth doesn't need choreography. The crowd gasped, half in shock, half in approval. My pulse hammered, but I felt the momentum shifting. Then Tessa struck back, eyes blazing. "You're just jealous, bitter. You failed to launch, so you're trying to ride my success." For a split second, the room hung silent. Then I leaned forward, voice steady. "If standing up for myself, for my work, for every creator who's been erased makes me bitter, then I'll wear it like armor." Applause erupted. Even the host blinked, caught off guard. Tessa's composure cracked, just slightly, but enough. And in that moment, I knew the narrative wasn't hers anymore. When the cameras finally cut, I felt like I'd just run a marathon barefoot across glass. The applause still echoed in my ears, but my body was trembling. I clutched the folder of receipts to my chest, half afraid someone might snatch it away before I even left the stage. Marisol barreled toward me backstage, nearly tackling me in a hug. "June? You killed it. You didn't just survive, you won." Kai followed, calm but smiling for the first time in weeks. The tide turned tonight. I could feel it. But winning in the studio was one thing. I didn't know what the world outside thought yet. On the ride home, I opened Twitter. Bloom with June was trending #1, not just in LA, nationwide. Clips of my line, "If standing up for myself makes me bitter, then I'll wear it like armor," were everywhere. People were stitching it into TikToks, turning it into graphics, even printing it on shirts. Meanwhile, Tessa's clips were dissected like forensic evidence. Her twitching smile, her dodged answers, her dismissal of her assistant. It all played badly outside the bubble of lights. By morning, headlines screamed, "Live showdown backfires, June emerges victorious. Authenticity versus gloss, and authenticity won." Feral Bloom founder fights back, and the internet rallies. My inbox overflowed. Journalists asking for interviews. Indie stores asking to stock Feral Bloom. Even a record label offered to collaborate on merch. It felt surreal. Just days ago, I'd been curled up on the floor, convinced my career was over. Now the city buzzed with my name. But victories come with shadows. Tessa's PR team wasn't done. That afternoon, they released a statement accusing me of manipulating public opinion with edited content and hinted at a possible lawsuit. Marisol rolled her eyes. Classic desperation move. Kai frowned, tapping his pen on the desk. "Don't underestimate her. If she takes this to court, even just for show, it could drain you. Money, energy, time." The thought chilled me. I'd come so far, but I wasn't bulletproof. Still, I straightened my shoulders. "Then we'll fight with truth again. I've got evidence. And this time, I've got a movement at my back." But as I said it, my phone buzzed with a private message. Not from a fan, not from a journalist. From someone claiming to have documents that could finish Tessa once and for all. The message sat on my phone screen like a trap. "I have documents proving Tessa plagiarized multiple creators, not just you. Contracts, emails, drafts. Meet me if you want them." No name, just an encrypted email address and a Dropbox link. Marisol read it over my shoulder and hissed, "Sketchy as hell. This could be a setup. What if it's malware, or worse, bait from Tessa's team to frame you?" Kai leaned against the wall, eyes narrowed. "Or it could be real. If Tessa's pattern of theft goes beyond you, this isn't just a feud, it's systemic. That changes everything." My chest tightened. For days, I'd been fighting to reclaim my own name. But if this was true, then maybe the fight wasn't just mine anymore. Still, the paranoia clawed at me. What if I clicked that link and lost everything? What if this was the final bullet Tessa was waiting to fire? I whispered, "How do we know it's legit?" Kai straightened. "We verify, we don't just take files. We cross-check dates, metadata, sources. If it holds, it's dynamite. If it's fake, we bury it." Marisol shook her head. "Or we walk away. June, you've already won the people. Don't risk it all chasing a smoking gun." But something in me couldn't let go. I remembered every message from creators who DM'd me after the live stream, saying they too had been ripped off. Quiet voices, scared to speak. Maybe this wasn't just about Feral Bloom. Maybe it was about all of us. So I typed back a reply. "Where and when?" The answer came quickly. "Tomorrow night, Echo Park. Bring no one." My stomach flipped. Every nerve screamed danger. But deep down, another voice whispered, "If this is real, it could end her." The next night, under the neon glow of Echo Park's street lamps, I walked toward the meeting spot. Heart pounding, folder of receipts tucked in my bag like armor. A figure stepped from the shadows, holding a flash drive. June Kincaid? The voice asked. And in that moment, I knew I was about to cross a line I couldn't uncross. The figure's face was hidden beneath a hoodie, but their hand was steady as they passed me the flash drive. Proof, they said simply, then melted back into the shadows before I could even ask their name. I stood there frozen, the tiny device heavy in my palm, like it carried the weight of my entire future. Back at my apartment, Marisol and Kai waited anxiously. I laid the drive on the table like it was a live grenade. Kai plugged it into an offline laptop, his precaution against malware, and the files spilled open. Dozens of PDFs, emails, draft contracts, screenshots. We scrolled in silence, the air thick. The documents were damning. Tessa had lifted not just my ideas, but designs and concepts from at least 4 other small creators. Fashion sketches eerily similar to her exclusive line. Drafts of captions copied word for word from niche accounts. Even email exchanges where she promised exposure in exchange for free work, only to ghost them. Marisol gasped. This isn't a feud, it's a pattern. She's been feeding off people for years. I felt my stomach churn, anger, disgust, but also responsibility. Because if I released this, it wouldn't just vindicate me, it would blow up her entire empire. Kai leaned back, rubbing his jaw. If this checks out, and from the metadata, it looks solid, then this is nuclear. The kind of thing that doesn't just ruin her brand, but scorches everything she touches. Investors, sponsors, gone. My heart pounded. Then we use it. But Kai held up a hand. Careful, drop this wrong, and people will say you're vindictive. They'll frame it as you dragging others into your personal grudge. We need strategy. Marisol slammed her fist on the table. Strategy. She deserves to burn. Why protect her? I stared at the screen, at the faces of the creators whose work she'd stolen. This isn't about burning her, I whispered. It's about giving them their voices back. The room went quiet. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. Not just expose Tessa. Amplify the others. Tell the story she had stolen, not just mine, but all of ours. The flash drive sat in the center of the table like a loaded weapon. None of us spoke for a long time. Finally, I broke the silence. We're not just dropping files. We're telling stories. Their stories. Kai nodded slowly. Exactly. If this becomes about Tessa versus June, it'll look like a grudge match. But if it's about a pattern, about all the creators she used, that's bigger than both of you. That's undeniable. Marisol crossed her arms, still fuming. Fine, but don't you dare soften it. She doesn't deserve mercy. I looked at her, steady. This isn't mercy, it's precision. So we built a plan. Step 1, verify. Kai spent hours combing through metadata, cross-checking emails with public posts, matching sketches to Instagram timestamps. By dawn, everything aligned. The files were real. Step 2, reach out. I drafted careful messages to the other creators, introducing myself, showing them the evidence, asking for their consent to share. One by one, they responded, some with shock, some with tears, most with relief. One replied, I thought I was crazy. Everyone told me to let it go. Thank you for finding me. Their words lit a fire in me. This wasn't just vindication. It was a chorus waiting to rise. Step 3, amplify. We scheduled a coordinated drop. Each creator would share their piece of the story at the same time. Screenshots, drafts, side-by-sides. Wholesale A would package it into a digital dossier, sleek but raw, impossible to dismiss. And I would anchor it all with a video, not polished, not corporate, just me looking straight into the camera. Tessa didn't just steal from me, she stole from us. But today, we take our voices back. Kai leaned back, a rare smile flickering. That line will go down in history. The weight of it all pressed on me. This wasn't just a counter-launch anymore. This was exposure on a scale that could end her career and redefine mine. But as we finalized the plan, Marisol's phone buzzed. Her smile vanished. She turned the screen toward us. A leaked email, already spreading online. From Tessa's PR team. And it had my name in it. The leaked email was already going viral by the time we finished reading it. It was from Tessa's PR team, circulated to journalists and influencers. The subject line, the truth about Juniper Kincaid. Inside, it painted me as a manipulator. Claims that I had exploited collaborators, that I fabricated receipts, that my napkin sketches were doctored for sympathy. They even dredged up screenshots of my old posts, half-baked captions from years ago, twisting them into evidence that I had lied about my journey. Marisol slammed her phone down. This is defamation, straight-up lies. Kai frowned, jaw tight. It's dirty but effective. Some people will believe it. Some outlets will run it without checking. My chest felt hollow. For every message of support pouring in, there were now comments calling me fake, clout chaser, attention addict. It was working. I wanted to scream, to burn her world down with the flash drive immediately, but Kai held me back. June, listen to me. If you lash out now, you'll look desperate. She's baiting you. Our release is stronger, but only if we stay disciplined. I clenched my fists. But people are believing her lies. Not everyone, Marisol cut in, pulling up her phone. She showed me a thread, fans stitching side-by-sides of the leaked claims against my original receipts, breaking it down, debunking each point. The hashtag receipts for June was climbing again. For every lie, someone was posting proof. Tears pricked my eyes. They're fighting for me. Marisol smiled fiercely. No, they're fighting with you. That's the difference. We doubled down on prep. The dossier was polished, the creators ready, the timeline locked. But that night, lying in bed, the fear gnawed at me. What if her smear stuck? What if people decided the drama was too messy, too toxic, and walked away from both of us? I stared at the ceiling, whispering to myself, truth isn't enough. It has to land. And as if the universe heard me, my phone buzzed again. A message from one of the smaller creators in the dossier. June, Tessa just threatened me. If I post, she says she'll ruin me. I don't know if I can do this. My blood ran cold. She wasn't just trying to smear me. She was trying to silence them. The message from the small creator haunted me all night. She'll ruin me. I kept rereading it, my gut twisting. This wasn't abstract anymore. It wasn't just about brand wars or hashtags. Tessa was wielding power like a weapon, leaning on people who had the least protection. The next morning, I gathered everyone on a group call. Faces flickered across the screen, some nervous, some defiant, some on the verge of tears. I took a breath. I know she's scaring you. She wants you to feel alone, but you're not. You're part of something bigger now. And if one of us backs down, the rest of us hold the line. For a moment, silence. Then one creator, a teenager with paint-streaked fingers, spoke up. She already stole my art. What more can she take? I'm in. Another nodded. If June's standing, I'm standing too. Marisol cheered quietly in the background. Kai stayed focused, already drafting contingency plans. Legal support contacts, press allies, digital security. We weren't just telling a story anymore. We were building a shield. That day, we moved fast. Pulse LA helped set up a private server for the creators, a safe space to coordinate. Volunteer lawyers stepped forward, offering pro bono support. Journalists reached out, hungry for the bigger-than-June angle. And slowly the fear shifted, not gone, but tempered with fire. I recorded a message that night, raw and unfiltered, posted to my account. Tessa wants us afraid. But fear doesn't erase the truth. Every voice she tried to silence will amplify. Every story she stole will return. Feral Bloom was never hers to own. It was always ours. The comments flooded with fire emojis, fists of voices rising, trending within hours. But the war was far from over. 2 nights before our planned dossier release, Marisol burst into my apartment, out of breath. June, you need to see this. She shoved her phone into my hands. On the screen, a glossy video ad, professionally produced, already spreading like wildfire. Tessa wasn't waiting for us to move. She had just launched her own proof campaign. The ad was everywhere within hours. Tessa stood in front of a gleaming white backdrop, dressed in muted tones like a saint in a perfume commercial. Her voice was soft, her eyes wet with rehearsed tears. I've been accused of terrible things, she said, but the truth is, I built Feral Bloom from the ground up. These accusations, they're from people who want to tear down success. I've dedicated my life to empowering creatives. I would never steal. The ad cut to quick montages. Clips of her at fashion shows, hugging fans, posing with sponsors. Polished, cinematic, convincing. And, worst of all, it ended with a tagline in bold white letters. Feral Bloom, always authentic. I nearly threw Marisol's phone against the wall. She's turning our word against us. Marisol cursed. People are eating this up. Look at the comments. Tessa's so brave. June's just jealous. It's working. Kai stayed calm, eyes locked on the screen. It's not proof, it's theater. But yes, it's effective. We need to time our release perfectly, or her narrative sticks. My chest heaved. So what do we do? Drop the flash drive now? Kai shook his head. Too messy. If you release it solo, she'll claim it's fabricated. We need the chorus, the other creators, to speak at once. That's what makes it undeniable. But then I remembered the scared message from that small creator. If even one of them backed out, the unity might fracture. Marisol leaned forward. June, this isn't just a campaign. This is war. We need to hit hard, hit once, and make it count. Her words echoed inside me. She was right. But fear gnawed at me too. If we misstepped, if people saw this as petty drama instead of systemic theft, everything could collapse. I stayed up that night, scrolling between the ads' comments and our own hashtags. Two worlds clashing in real time. And then, somewhere between despair and rage, I realized the truth. Tessa had the budget, the polish, the theater, but I had something she could never buy. The messy, unfiltered, undeniable receipts. It wasn't about dropping them faster. It was about dropping them right. I grabbed my phone and texted the creators group chat. We don't back down. We go live, together, tomorrow night. The replies rolled in. I'm in. Let's do it. She can't silence us all. And just like that, the date was set. The next night, the world wouldn't just hear from me. They'd hear from all of us. The next night, my apartment was buzzing like a command center. Screens lit up every corner, Zoom windows filled with creators from across the country. All of them ready. Some had their receipts taped to the wall behind them. Others held up sketchbooks, screenshots, or prototypes of the work Tessa had stolen. Kai paced like a general. Marisol refreshed hashtags on her laptop. Grinning every time Dorisha voices rising ticked higher. I sat in front of my phone, hands trembling, breath shallow. Ready? Kai asked. I nodded. Go live. At exactly 7 p.m., the screens lit up. Not just mine, all of them. 20 creators, 20 feeds, all going live at the same moment. And within minutes, the internet caught fire. A painter showed side-by-sides of her canvases next to Tessa's original ad imagery. A musician strummed chords from a melody she had sent Tessa months before, now rebranded in Tessa's campaign. A fashion student flipped through her sketchbook, page after page, matching the outfits in Tessa's glossy runway photos. I added my voice, showing the napkin sketch, the time-stamped drafts, the montage that had started it all. But this time, it wasn't just me. It was all of us. Comments poured in faster than I could read. She stole from everyone. This is insane. We ride with June. We ride with all of you. By the hour mark, news outlets were already clipping the lives. Twitter filled with threads compiling the evidence. Receipts stacked like dominoes. Impossible to deny. Marisol burst out laughing, tears in her eyes. She can't spin this. It's too big, too loud. But Kai, always cautious, kept his eyes on his screen. Wait. He swiveled the laptop toward me. On Tessa's Instagram, a story had just gone up. A shaky video, filmed like a confession. Her face streaked with mascara. And she was crying. The shaky video filled my screen. Tessa sat in what looked like her bedroom floor, mascara streaks painting rivers down her cheeks. Her voice cracked as she spoke. I never wanted it to be like this. I've made mistakes, but I'm human. I never stole. I collaborated. Maybe I didn't credit people enough, but I always believed in the bigger vision. I'm sorry if anyone feels hurt, but these attacks, they're trying to destroy me. She sobbed, clutching her chest like a fallen heroine. The comments rolled in, half sympathy, half outrage. She's just human. This is damage control. Don't fall for it. Justice for Tessa. Marisol groaned. Unbelievable. She's weaponizing pity. Kai leaned closer to the screen. Notice the wording. Sorry if anyone feels hurt. That's not an apology. That's deflection. Classic PR tactic. Make herself the victim. My heart raced. For a moment, I felt the old fear creeping in. What if people forgave her? What if all our evidence got drowned under her tears? But then I remembered the creators on the live stream, their trembling voices as they showed their stolen work. Their courage wasn't theater. Mine couldn't be either. I hit record. My face appeared on my own feed, raw under the apartment light. I just watched Tessa's video, I began. And I need to say something, not as a brand, not as an influencer, just as a person. Tessa calls this collaboration, but collaboration has consent, credit, respect. What she did wasn't collaboration, it was theft. My throat tightened, but I kept going. She asks for sympathy. But what about the artists she erased? What about the musicians, designers, writers who spent nights creating, only to see their work on a billboard with someone else's name? We're not here to destroy her. We're here to reclaim what she stole. The comments exploded with fire, supportive, relentless. And then, something unexpected. A blue-check designer with hundreds of thousands of followers stitched my video. She said, "I never wanted to speak up, but June's right. Tessa stole from me too." Proof attached. In less than an hour, other big names followed. It wasn't just the small creators anymore. It was the industry. The industry voices changed everything. Within 24 hours, the story wasn't June versus Tessa anymore. It was a culture of theft. Headlines read, "Influencer empire built on stolen work," and "Creators unite against exploitation." Every major outlet picked it up. Sponsors quietly began scrubbing Tessa's face from their campaigns. One even issued a statement, "We stand with the artists." Marisol danced in my kitchen, waving her phone like a victory flag. "She's done, June. She's radioactive." But I didn't feel triumph, at least not right away. Watching Tessa's empire unravel was surreal. Her followers dropped by the thousands. The teary videos stopped. Her silence grew louder by the day. And me, I sat with the weight of it all. I thought about the napkin sketch, the sleepless nights, the betrayal that had cut deeper than I could have imagined. But I also thought about the chorus of voices that had risen when mine wasn't enough. Because this wasn't just my revenge, it was our reclamation. A week later, I stood on a small stage at a community art event. Not a polished gala, not a press circus, just folding chairs, fairy lights, and the people who had stood beside me. I held up the sketch, framed now. This, I told them, was almost erased. But thanks to you, it wasn't. This was never just about one drawing, one brand, or one betrayal. It was about proving that our voices matter, and that no one has the right to steal them. The crowd cheered, some cried, cameras clicked, but for once, I didn't care. For the first time in months, I felt whole again, not because Tessa fell, but because we stood. And in that standing, I remembered who I was. Not a victim, not just a brand, but a creator, unbreakable, undeniable, and finally, free. End of story.